move on into the Bakhmut front. At the Bakhmut front, we have Ukrainians attacking Mayos on the 18th to 19th. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, Ukrainian forces continue to hit this position because, like I said, this is actually very strategically important. It controls this entire road up. So the Ukrainian forces are trying. Over at the Andriivka region, the Russians are conducting counterattacks over Andriivka. The Ukrainian Defense Ministry and Deep State UA reported the Russians are trying to do the counterattack, whereas we have reinforcement being reported south of Andriivka. According to Ryba, the Ukrainian forces are trying to gather a new force to make this push. So we shall see how this goes. This reinforcement was also reported on the western part of KLISHCHIIVKA, where the concentration of the 3rd Assault Brigade has actually taken up position, probably to reinforce the situation over at KLISHCHIIVKA. Because despite the claim of the capture of KLISHCHIIVKA by the Ukrainian side, there is seemingly still fighting over at the northern part of KLISHCHIIVKA. Geolocation of Ukrainian forces on the 19th by Dnipro, Osin, Crimea Karaparis, as well also Crimea Karaparis, has actually shows that the Ukrainians are still conducting clearing operations, sweeping operations in the northern part, and that the Russians are still conducting fighting with them in the northern outskirts. This actually prompts Ryba to actually say that the claims of the capture is premature, and then it's pretty much still a gray zone, that the fighting is still ongoing at KLISHCHIIVKA. They have basically denied that this is the reality. I mean, the capturing is a reality. And Ukrainian Defense Ministry reported that the Russians are conducting counterattack on the 18th. And in today's report, Remelin, we haven't heard this name a lot because he pretty much reports mostly on the situation with Wagner. He said that the Wagner forces have actually returned and now helping the Russian forces to coordinate, command and coordinate by Wagner fighters. They actually voluntarily returned to the front line over KLISHCHIIVKA region. So I think this is actually a pretty important news. He already mentioned that the Wagners has already signed some agreement or something, or get their request approved to return to the front line. So these Wagner fighters have returned to, and they chose KLISHCHIIVKA. So it's very interesting. We shall see whether this can be corroborated by any other sources, especially with Ryba and other sources, but we shall see. Let's see how this goes. Otherwise, Ukrainians are still pretty much on the on the one with the initiative over at KLISHCHIIVKA. We have more stuff over at the Bakhmut front. There is geolocation of Ukrainian forces positioned just outside of Bakhmut city on the 18th, geolocated by military summary over here. So the Russians are pretty much holding the city, it looks like it, and the Ukrainians are actually holding everywhere just outside. And further geolocation of Ukrainian forces over at Khromove actually confirms that Khromove was not captured by the Russian forces, or the Russians have decided not to hold this very hard to defend position. So this geolocation shows Ukrainian forces getting shelled, but they are in Khromove, and this actually leads us to officially confirm that Khromove is under Ukrainian control. So yeah, another capture. There is fighting reported west of Yakhidny. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, they say that the Russians are attacking in this direction. Maybe not. And there is reinforcement reported at Bodanivka. So this reinforcement probably signals either they are going to strengthen the defense, or they are actually going to go on the counter-attack. So we shall see how this goes. And moving on, we out of the Bakhmut front. That's all from the Bakhmut front. We move into the Siversk front. At the Siversk front, we